Dorian's brooding over a problem in 40 Minutes in Birds of a Feather. But now from Essex to Ethics on BBC One, and a question. Would you do the right thing?
Welcome again to Do the Right Thing, the show that puts the moral fibre back into television, a kind of roughage. But not before time. This has got a beginning, a middle and an end, which you will decide at home. So glue yourself to the set. Now, tonight's story is all about the pitfalls of being a celebrity. So, who better to make up our panel of ethical guides than three people we've never seen before in our lives? First, a man who liked being a couch potato on fantasy football so much, he's taken up permanent residence on this panel. Frank Skinner. Wearing a Mr. Blobby reject. And without our next panellist, Royal Ascot would be unthinkable. No, it's not Her Majesty the Queen. Are you warm? Welcome the woman who badmouths the hats. Editor of the Sunday Express, Eve Pollard. I'm going to ask you to be very patient with our last contributor, something of a shrinking violet and a bit of a stranger to the airwaves. So an encouraging welcome to our second editor of the night, Mr. Sunday Times, Andrew Neil. And now, Vesti La Juba. On with the motley. Our 4-minute first act of a tangled web shows lovely makeup artist Madelaine Clark thrust on the horns of a dilemma by a newsreader she'd thought was her special chum.
Funny. Every night millions of people believe what Anthony Pollard tells them, but not me, not anymore.
And let's just hope they get through before the snows arrive. That's all. Very good night to you.
What you're about to hear is the real story behind the headlines. The story of my affair with TV's Mr. Nice Guy.
Thanks, everybody.
And how I tried desperately to do the right thing.
Yeah, all right, I'll do that. Yeah. Anyway, apparently he said if he didn't get question time, he was off to CNN. Well, no, I don't think so somehow. Sorry, am I keeping you up?
Oh, come on, Tony. Even I can't take 3 courses of talking shop. I thought you had something important to tell me. Or ask me, even.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, how about taking another type of plunge?
Mads, you know how much I like you.
3 years and it's like.
Oh, love, then. You know how I feel.
Still in 2 minds about leaving Liz, obviously.
No. I decided, actually. I'm going to give it another go.
Really?
The thing is, she'd be lost without me. And the kids' birthdays are coming up.
The kids' birthdays?
What I'm trying to say is they need a good father.
You mean you need your good reputation?
Come on, Matt.
Don't worry, nobody's looking. No more than usual.
You want me to run you home?
No! Thanks. You run along home to your wife and kids.
My most precious Mads. The scumbag. Are there any that say he'll marry you?
Oh, yeah. My birthday, our anniversary. Regular as clockwork.
Ooh, these could be worth something.
Stop it, Sal. This is all I've got left of him.
Apart from the flat.
If that's him, I don't want to speak to him.
Hi, it's me. I just wanted to let you know I've come clean with Liz. I told her all about you and the flat. Well, it'll be a while before I'm flavour of the month again, I suppose. Maybe it would be easier for everyone if we found you somewhere else to live. But anyway, don't worry about that now. We'll sort something out. Bye.
He wants you out of the flat.
Well, that's fine by me. And these can go for a start.
No, don't be stupid. Think about it, Maddie. These are valuable.
What are you doing?
This is an old flame of mine. Freelance journalist, does a lot of work for the Sundays. He'd be very interested in these, particularly this one.
You mean kiss and tell?
Why not? He deserves it. I know what I'd do.
So here's our jilted heroine clutching a phone number. Should she call the journalist and sell her story? Or fall quietly into that bottle of wine? Would you do it? Would you sell to the press?
Well, I've been jilted a few times in my life.
Well, one can understand that.
And I think that you should be able to do anything that's very, very unpleasant to the person who's doing it. I'm not one of these people who...
You're obviously a wounded man. You've been really hurt,
well,
haven't you?
I could never sort of, stay friends. I'm a dog excrement through the letterbox person.
Would you say that you have a low self-esteem?
No, I hate the idea that they can live without me. It's really, really terrible. I'm the worst jilted person. So I'd probably give my story to the papers. It's not often somebody dumps you and you get the chance to completely ruin their lives. That's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
An opportunity not to be missed, I would have said.
I'd say this for you. You always take a different view.
Well, it must be worse if it's a newsreader, because you know that bit at the end of the news when they set up the papers and go... You think they were talking about you, wouldn't you? I hate that.
Eve Pollard. We couldn't have two better people than Eve Pollard and Andrew Neil on for this one. Eve, what would you do if you were her? Now, you got to put yourself in her position. Would you sell the story?
Well, if you were her, you'd wonder what had gone wrong with this affair about 2 years ago. You've been going out with this bloke for 3 years, and he's still taking you to a grotty restaurant where everybody else obviously speaks Serbo-Croat, because they weren't interested in that little scene. Most people in restaurants would have been. And, I mean, who is he? I mean, we don't know that he was reading the news on any sort of major channel.
Take my word for it. This is a major newsreader, well-loved.
Well, I mean, if it was somebody like you, Terry, you see, it could be quite interesting, couldn't it?
Well, take it that it is somebody like me, quite interesting.
Somebody as big, famous and handsome.
From her point of view, would you sell the story?
No. I mean, if you are a single girl and you go into an affair with a married man, you have to expect this sort of ending, don't you? And it seems to me that she didn't understand him at all if she thought he was taking her out to propose to her when he was taking her out to say he was going back to his wife. And after all, he's told his wife, he's told her on the phone.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot of cheers there from the audience, but it sounded like it came from men. Men with high-pitched voices. Speaking of which, Andrew Neil.
Hello.
You're the editor of a rather more serious paper than the Sunday Express. So
I'm not sure about that. We have a recount.
Well, look, leave the man with these delusions for just a moment. What would be your view? Now, first of all, we'll take it as an editor. Would you take this story? Take it that this guy is a really big star. He's got a very good, clean image. Would you take the story, first of all?
This is a tale, an everyday tale of BBC folk.
Yeah.
I mean, this happens all the time. I mean, probably almost everybody connected with this program is in the same position.
Absolutely. Well, it's a It seems to be an increasing tale of MPs and celebrities, certainly.
Yeah, well, from what I've seen of this guy is clearly a prat. And the woman seems very decent. She ought to cut her losses and quit while she's ahead.
I'm interested now. So the two newspaper editors say she shouldn't sell the story.
If she sells the story, it's going to be a disaster. For her.
Well, for her, because she's a makeup girl, right? So she works.
Well, this is an interesting lesson in what you say, because the people that sell stories then to newspapers, it usually is bad for them in the end.
It is.
I think as we go on tonight, that'll be the theory that comes true, that it's fine, it's good for newspapers. If you want to speak from a newspaper point of view, people should sell stories. But those who do, they may increase the circulation of newspapers, but they do themselves no good at all.
Okay, thank you, panel. And now it's time for a bit of vox pop, whatever that may mean. Now, all I want to hear here is the sound of feet. As you, the studio audience, take up a position concomitant with what you think of the story so far. And that doesn't mean you leave the building, now, please. If you think, yes, Maddie should sell her story to the papers, there's a seat for you over there. Now, if you think, no, she shouldn't sell her story to the papers, you're there. Please take your positions. And vote with your feet. Once again, the audience here in the studio have shrewdly paid absolutely no attention to Frank Skinner. You at home, stay glued, because you're the ones who are going to take the final decision on this, yes or no. So let's find out if Anthony Pollard is really all mouth and no trousers in our second installment of this moral quagmire.
Matt, I'm sorry. I thought you were on early today.
That makes it all right, does it?
I guessed you wouldn't want to see me outside of work hours. I thought I'd left something here.
What?
Oh, something personal.
I ironed your shirts. They're in the kitchen.
It's very sweet of you.
Unless, of course, it's the letters you're looking for.
My letters? Well, it would be nice to have them back, of course, if you finished with them.
Too late, Tony.
Why?
I've burnt them.
Is that the truth?
Hey, I'm not the liar in this relationship.
Perhaps this would be a good time for you to start packing your bags.
Is it all right if I get dressed first?
Oh, yes, of course. Take your time. You've got till the weekend.
You forgot your shirts!
Hi, Tony.
Gordon, hi.
Okay for Thursday?
I'm looking forward to it.
I'll book the court.
I'd book an indoor one if I was you.
Ever the optimist.
Miss Clark, can I have a word? In view of the staff cuts, we're going to have to let you go. It's not a question of dissatisfaction or incompetence. It's just that all departments are up for rationalization and, well, in a nutshell, it's a question of last in, first out.
But I wasn't last in. Caroline Beasley came after me.
She's a special case.
She's also head of drama's sister-in-law.
Yes, well, there's some things even I'm powerless to do anything about.
Well, you're pretty good at accommodating Tony Pollard when he wants a favour doing! Brilliant! Brilliant! Thanks.
I was beginning to think you weren't going to ring me.
I'm still in two minds about it.
Look, there's no need. Look, if it's a truthful portrayal you're after, I'm your man. Okay?
Okay.
Good. Now, tell me about Anthony Pollock.
Would this be off the record?
Whatever you like. Deep background, as they say on the Sunday Sport. Look, I just want to get the flavour of the guy, really.
I can certainly help you with what he smells like.
I like it. I gather there was some correspondence.
Yes, but... would my name have to appear?
No need. Same we're after. You just be the anonymous recipient. How many letters were there?
About 12. How much would I get for them?
A couple of grand each. More if there's a high juice content.
25,000.
Decent down payment on a new flat. What's the take-home pay on that job of yours?
Not much now.
Look, I've got a draft contract here. Have a think about it. Not for too long, though. Remember, it's not what you know in this life that gets you on. It's what you know about who you know. Go on. Sign it.
So now, poor Mads, he's done her out of a job, he's kicked her out of the flat, and all she's got is the offer of £25,000 from a man who, let's face it, is a credit to the journalistic profession. Eve Pollard, would you change your mind? Haven't seen what you've seen. I mean, he's been nasty to her. He's got her elbowed from the job, he's elbowing her from the flat.
Well,
it's an offer of 25,000 quid. Put yourself in her place.
Well, first of all, she's even more of a prat than I thought. If she is ironing his shirts without a ring on her finger, I mean, I make very few rules in life, but that I would have thought would be one of the basic ones, girls.
Have you always followed that throughout your life?
I've never ironed for anybody, actually, but no kiss and tell has happened so far with somebody kissing and telling an anonymous person. You know that she's going to have her name in it. And you know that not only will she be in it, but her mother and her father and everybody will be probably spoken to.
You're speaking from a deep knowledge of Fleet Street, Wapping, and all points west.
Not Wapping. But the other thing is, she could take her revenge in other ways. I mean, she could cut his suits up.
When has that been done before?
She could cut his suits up. She could tell everybody in the TV industry he's got some terrible disease.
But she's not going to get 25,000
She'd be inventive.
She's not going to get 25,000 quid for that, Eve. Have you changed your mind, Andrew? I thought I saw just a flicker
The
there.
newsreader, I said the newsreader is a prat. He's also a swine as well. Her name is essential to this story.
Absolutely.
It cannot come out without her name. And what she's also got to consider, though, I can understand why a mixture of revenge and an easy 25,000, it seems easy, but she has to consider she gets 25,000 now, she could be unemployable forever.
Yes.
Okay, good point. So you're still saying no? She should.
I still
you're
say
still
no.
saying no.
I think that she should get her revenge, but be more inventive about it.
I feel you're wavering just a bit. Frank, are you still rigid in your belief that this girl should go for it, take the money, and nail him to the ground?
Well, definitely. I mean, this is a chance to ruin this bloke. I mean, he had to get a sack, really, because he couldn't have her as his makeup girl.
No, he got her the sack.
You don't want to do a news bulletin and find out someone's written 2-time in git across your face.
That would be great.
But I don't see how she can miss a chance like this. What has she got to lose? She's got no job anyway. It's a bit ironic that someone who works for Rupert Murdoch says you should never sell your story. It seems a bit odd.
I think that was a slur on you there. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. But
It's true, though.
Unfair. I'll say it.
But do the newspapers thrive on people?
Hold on a minute. There are other newspapers. This is not the point. It's in the interests of newspapers for people like her to come forward and sell their stories.
Fair enough, yeah.
And that's fine. My point is that in her interest, it is not in her interest to come forward and sell the story. It will only do her damage.
Is this making you change your mind?
No, because I think it's worth getting done a bit of damage if you can ruin this bloke's life.
Except
What a wholehearted and wonderful person
you know,
you are.
she's been
other
jilted.
people have had stories like this before, and they come back.
Okay, well, thank you, panel. We'll see if you've influenced the viewers at home. We're going to take the final decision, or our studio audience. Now, what about the studio audience? Question's got a bit more complicated. Should Madeleine take the money? She's been done wrong by this guy. And open Pandora's box. You've heard what our panelists to say. Prepare to let your feet trip daintily across the coloured walkway of our moral maze. Yes, she should tell the newspapers on that side. No, she shouldn't. Here. Take your positions. And vote with your feet. Well, the no's, as you can see, still have it by a considerable majority, but there has been a crossover here. Let's talk to these people over here. This small but devoted band who think, yes, sell the story. Why?
I think I would have gone that way except for the flat at the end. I don't think she should be gotten out
Yeah,
the flat.
that was very nasty.
Finished it for me.
Yeah. Good, well, you're a hard man, but a fair one. What do you, my dear? What do you think?
It was just a little bit more comfortable over this side.
Look at this crowd here. Have you thought of the money she could make out of this? Have you thought of the money?
Yes, but it's going to be a hollow victory, isn't it? I mean, after the money's gone, she still doesn't have him at the end of the day, and that's what she ostensibly
She's not going to
wants.
have him anyway. I mean, wouldn't she be just as well to take a revenge? What do you think?
No, she deserved what she got.
Why?
Because, like, I agree with Miss Pollard over there. If a woman's going to have an affair with a married man, she's asking for trouble.
Now, I can see you're all pretty well impaled on the horns of this dilemma, so let's all go back to the pub. No, in the story. And see what our Madeleine is going to do next.
So, are you going to append your Madeleine, Monica? Your Monica, Madeleine?
I think I'll take it home. See how I feel in the morning.
And let me escort you to your door. Dangerous neighbourhood, London.
No, thanks.
Oh, so be it. Make sure you bell me first thing in the morning, though, yeah?
Of course. Hadn't I better call you a cab?
No, it's all right. My car's just round the corner. I'm only joking. I'll be all right, really. I was going to see a man about a snake.
What's going on?
All right, Madeleine, calm down. No need to make a scene.
What do you think you're doing? You can't throw me out in the middle of the street in the middle of the night. Who do you think you are?
In the car.
No.
Well, calm down. You've got to be out of here by the weekend, or my life won't be worth living. Liz absolutely insisted on this.
Oh, she did she? And did she absolutely insist that you give that floor manager the once-over this afternoon?
What?
I've got a bit of a wandering hand myself, actually, Tony. I've just used it to sign a contract.
What for?
You'll see. When you open up next Sunday's papers on your breakfast table.
What have you done?
What haven't I done? I haven't burnt your letters, Tony. I've sold them.
Who to?
That's for me to know and 4 million people to find out.
You just try getting another job in television.
Jerry, Tony Pollard,
Listen, I need some emergency damage limitation. Somewhere in Fleet Street, Wapping, probably. There's a bundle of letters that... Oh! Oh!
It's all right, everybody. I've got a mobile. I'll phone for an ambulance straight after this call.
Mrs. Pollard. I'm so sorry. I'm Madelaine Clark.
Sorry, we haven't met, have we?
No. But didn't Tony mention me?
I don't think so. Who are you?
I work at the studio. Tony always insists on me doing his makeup.
They said he crashed in North Kensington. That's a long way from the studio, isn't it?
Yes. Tony had very kindly given me a lift home.
Oh, yes.
How's our boy doing then?
He's unconscious.
Oh, still alive then? Good, eh? You're lucky there, isn't it?
Is it?
I'll say. I've been authorised by the editor, in view of the life-threatening situation, to offer you £100,000.
How much?
100k, providing you sign the contract now and hand over the letters.
If the daily gets much worse, there's poor Tony at death's door, in sore need of Mad's magic touch with the makeup brush. But she's got 100 grand on her mind. And he didn't tell his wife. And this is where we ask you at home to dab, if you will, the tears from your eyes and pick up the phone. Because you have the power to choose the ending you want. Once again, crazed with power, we have filmed 2 endings. Money matters nothing here. One where she does sell her story, and one where she doesn't. 2 endings. You phone one of these numbers, and you decide the ending we will play. Yes, she should sell her story. Phone 0891 300 301. Or no, she shouldn't sell her story. 0891 300 302. It's up to you. These people's lives are in your hands. Get phoning. Okay? Collating the calls even as we speak. We'll go to you first, Andrew Neil. Has this changed your view, the view from the top?
I think she's already had her revenge. She's actually, without realizing it, alerted the wife for a start. He's lying on his deathbed or in intensive care, and I think that his life ain't going to be worth living even if he does survive. I think what the people sitting on the yes side have got to think about very carefully is, can they think of a single woman in this position who did a kiss and tell and enhanced her reputation or went on to a better life? Christine Keeler got a lot more in these days than £100,000 for the Perfumal story, a lot more. She ended up in a council house in World's End. If you take Antonia de Sancho, telling on David Mellor did not exactly enhance her acting career, such as it was. Fiona Wright, who told on Ralph Halpern, she ended up writing an agony aunt column for the Sunday Sport. In every single case, although it might have seemed like a short-term revenge. And of course, this guy deserves it. He would deserve all that he's getting. But in the end, it rebounds on them, and the people they tell on go on to better and greater things. They're not the ones in the end that are hurt. It's the people that do the telling in the end that are hurt, and they don't recover. And that's why she shouldn't do it.
She's been deeply wounded. The wife hasn't been told. He was just trying to get rid of her so he could carry on with the floor manager. He's got her out of the flat. She's been offered £100,000. Forget what you know now.
I mean, of course, if you're what we call the red tops, you'd be interested in this story. Though, of course, if he's very sick, even on, you know, The Sun, the News of the World, all those papers, the Good Taste Committee comes in at this stage and says we can't do this to him while he's in hospital. So she would get less money. She'd get no money at all.
But that would be your type of newspaper, but lower down, as Andrew was talking about
that
earlier.
would be my sort of newspaper. I'm not sure. I mean, we'd pick it up if somebody else did it.
Would you pay £100,000?
I have never paid £100,000 for anything in my life.
What about you? You wouldn't pay 100 pennies for anything like this, I know. but tell me this and tell me no more. Do you still take the view? There's that man, he's injured. He could well die, as Andrew says.
Well,
I know he won't, but he could.
I'd feel a bit better now he was smashed up.
Yeah. That's always the Christian view.
But that phone call that he made, he said, I want to talk to you about some emergency damage limitation, and they went through the bloody windscreen. I wouldn't phone that bloke again. Well, I'd definitely go for him. In fact, when the wife said, why was he in North Kensington, I think I'd have said, well, I don't know, but he was squeezing the floor manager's bum this afternoon, and really perhaps got the floor manager into trouble as well, because she's...
You wanted to have said that, but you wouldn't have said it at the time.
Well, I don't like the wife much, actually.
Well, now that's the way it's ended. Let's go for the money. Don't you think? If you were her.
And then what are you going to do?
She doesn't know that her life's going to be ruined.
Oh, no. All these people are public knowledge. I mean, Andrew was absolutely right. We all know what's happened to these women. She knows it's a quick 100,000, if that, and then that's it.
Actually, you missed another chance to get Michael Fish in there, because he could have come along up to the wreckage and said, yes, there is going to be black ice this evening.
Thank you, team. Now, before we have the final fling with the hoi polloi, you at home, keep on phoning these numbers. Yes, she should sell her story. 0891 300 301. No, she shouldn't. 0891 300 302. 30,000 lines are open for just a few more minutes. So hurry up, make that call. You could be swayed by what the audience here are going to do. So, any last-minute changes of mind? You know the drill. Decide for yes, she should sell the story. Decide for no. For the final time, take up your thrilling positions and go for it. Vote with your feet. Now, there's a lot of partisan feeling here, a lot of hissing across the body of the hall here. Let me go to the no's have had it from the beginning. And, you know, what's it like not to be an individual and to follow the crowd wherever you go?
I've actually moved over from the yes to the no.
Why'd you change your mind?
I wanted my wife to come over here.
As good a reason as any. We're not taking this terribly seriously, are we? Well, some of us aren't. It's life and death to me. Have you been here all this time?
I have, yes.
And I've never spoken to you?
You haven't, Terry.
OK, well, make it clear to me. You think no. Why?
I think she will actually take the money, but I think she shouldn't.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, yeah. I think she probably will take the money.
Yes, it could do as well, you know. But I know nothing. I just know that man's not going to die. OK. Now, you're the very man who said to me when you were over that side...
You're absolutely right, Terry, yes.
Are you sure you're comfortable here?
Yes, I'm getting comfortable, thank you very much, yes. In fact, you see, now that the auntie's right, I think it's the time to do it. Bearing in mind that a lot has happened since, the fact that, you know, he's now in an accident and all the rest of it, and there's less to lose, isn't there? I mean, as far as he is concerned.
Have you always been a man who has, as it were, metaphorically given two fingers to the popular view?
No, not always, no, but very often. You've detected that, have you?
I thought...
Yes.
Individual, I thought.
Yes, I thought you'd see that.
Yes, but I'm as perceptive as the next idiot. And what about you, madam? You changed your mind?
I would have gone for the money. And,
money means everything to you, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
And if he'd died, she'd get nothing, would she? You know, she might get round to him later and get the flat, but if he's gone or not well, he's never going to be with her anymore.
What about his family? What about their feelings?
Yes, I know. It's very sad, but she can't see it for her life.
Yes. There's always two ways of looking at it. Any reflections on the views of the great unwashed over there?
Well, if you're going to have an affair, Terry, I should choose one from over there.
Thank you. And now, the end is near. Where have I seen that before? Now, the die has been cast. All the phone lines are closed. You have made your irrevocable decision. According to your votes out there, this is what you think is the right thing to do. Yes, and to the applause of the reprobates, you voted yes. Madeleine should sell her story. God, I hope you're happy with that. Poor old Pollard. Wonderful name. Has she got news for him? So now let's see if supping with the devil leads to a long but empty spoon. First, thank you to the studio audience who've been so different. And to our panel, Frank Skinner, Eve Pollard, and O'Neill. You've done it now. Good night.
Madeleine, you've made the right decision. Trust me.
Fair to say that your story has caused a lot of public interest, which you must be quite surprised at. But are you surprised at the sympathy it's raised? Well, yes. I hadn't really thought about it, but obviously all this attention has surprised me. All this. Yes, I'm sure it has done. But your decision to sell your story is not the only big decision you've made, is it? No. Would you like to tell us what you're going to do with the money? Well, I've decided I'm going to give it all to charity. Because I don't really want it, and I would like some good to come out.
Did you know about this?
Can I have a word?
Of course you can't. I'm doing the 12 o'clock.
Actually, you're not. Colonel MacDonald's standing in for you. So you come upstairs. You can
Don't take this seriously. I mean, she's a makeup girl, Where?
6th floor.
I've got a lot to say, obviously, but I think that I'll keep those stories to myself.
Will Dorian do the right thing in Birds of a Feather in a moment on BBC One?
We may ask you to make a statement.
How far would you go to protect your best friend?
I see. Okay.
All right, I was out of order. But it's my entire career that's on the line here, Col. I might even go to prison. Is that what you want? All you have to do is stick to your story and everything will be okay. Trust me.
So what's it to be?
How will you vote on next week's Do the Right Thing?